Yo, welcome back to more Trinoline. Shun and Yuuri went ham and cheese in the hospital room, and now we're here. So let's see what's going on. Hey, Yuuri, I've got a bone to pick with you. During break, on our way back from our outdoor study session, we heard a familiar voice. What is it, Hanako-senpai? Sure enough, Yuuri was the one she was after. What the fuck is happening? I considered going to help her, but I decided to watch how things played out from the sidelines. Haven't you been spending lots of time with Shun recently? Not really. We're childhood friends after all. We've been together for ages. Could it be? Huh? That is a bit concerning. Hanako-senpai was acting unusually discreet. Despite that, Yuuri didn't seem to have noticed and looked annoyed by Hanako-senpai's presence. You're going to talk about illicit relationships again, aren't you? I'm sick of hearing about it. No, it wasn't my intention to criticize you for that. Does that mean you're dating Shun? Huh? Oh, did I hit the bullseye? Yeesh, it's none of your business, Hanako-senpai. With how often you bunk off, I assume Shun was tutoring you, since he is an upperclassman. I have been worried whether you've keeping up with your studies. Worrying about every facet of Yuri's life is definitely something Hanako-senpai would do. To think you and Sean would be all rumpy-pumpy. I've got no idea what rumpy-pumpy is supposed to mean. Same. It's not like we're going out of our way to hide it, but it was a little embarrassing for her to ask. Well, Sean is in a pretty sticky wicket at the moment. Having you there to support him could be a good thing. Really? However, you're both students. Act like it, and keep the flirting in check. You're a disciplinary committee member, Yuuri. Yeah, I know all about it. Having a person supporting your collapse would be putting the cart before the horse. Yeah, I guess so. Now that I was hearing her out, Hanako-senpai was actually given pretty practical advice. She was out of sync with other people in all sorts of ways, but she had good intentions. I used to think that Shun was a bit crazy of a lot. I used to think that Shun was a bit of a lazy sod. But it appears he has a manly side to him too. Yeah, Shun may not look like it, but he can be really reliable too. So, as long as he is in front of the woman he loves, that is, I see him in a whole new light. You think so? I found it difficult to step away with all of the girl talk unfolding before me. They looked like they were getting along as well as ever, so just as I tried to leave. Sarah? Before I knew it, Sarah was standing right beside me. How long have you been there? The whole time. Fuck you, dude. She turned heel and walked away like nothing had happened. I decided to head back to the classroom too and followed after Sarah, so Hanako-senpai and Yuuri wouldn't notice me. Are you sure you wanted to stop eavesdropping? I wasn't trying to, it just became hard to leave. Anyway, you're dating Yuuri now. Congrats. Sound a little salty. Thank you. Thank you. Hearing her say it so nonchalantly made me kind of uneasy. Looks like you guys worked things out. You suggested having a real talk with her. Anyway, did you know? More or less. I figured it wasn't a cold. Do you know everything, Sarah? I mean, pretty much. Kind of. I'm obviously not on the medical team, but it wasn't completely unrelated to robotic engineering. The rescue androids I told you about before were made possibly via my research. No shit, sir. No shit. I'm sure artificial intelligence was applied in the medical androids' development and during their live experiments. So there's a research like that too. I doubted illnesses themselves could be cured via android technology. Even if research on medical androids and the like wasn't within Sarah's jurisdiction, artificial intelligence would surely be helpful in that endeavor. Instagram. They may not be able to perform any treatment procedures, but if you input all the symptom patterns, it could increase the rate of discovery of cancerous cells. Death will eventually befall every human being, so even a complete recovery amounts to nothing more than life support. You think so? Good night. This doesn't apply to just androids. For example, aren't there illnesses where you can provide life support via artificial internal organs? Damn, what the fuck does that even mean? But I like what I'm hearing. Like, that sounds fucking cool. I'm not intimately familiar with Yuuri's case specifically, but I am a little curious since it doesn't appear to be a minor condition. Or so I say, but I don't have the first clue about medical care, so I wouldn't know. I see. Yuuri had told me her disease was incurable, but she hadn't actually gone so far as to tell me a specific name. If it were possible to extend her lifespan, maybe something could be done. Does Yuuri know about artificial internal organs? I've never asked her discreetly, but I would assume she does. I see. I'll ask her about it later. Life extension treatments via artificial organs or organ replacement machines. If there was a chance those could work, then it was possible Yuuri could live a longer life. Hell yeah, brother. Alright, looks like we finished cleaning. Time for a short break. Thanks for all the help. Yuuri smiled happily. She was afflicted with an incurable disease and had even collapsed because of it. In spite of that, she was always full of energy whenever we were together. That was why it still felt completely unreal to me that she might disappear. Hey, Yuuri, about your illness. Where's this coming from all of a sudden? Do you go to the hospital and stuff? I do, since I'm taking medication for it. Are there any treatments? Huh? Any treatments other than medicine, like rehabilitation or something? Shun, why are you asking me this all of a sudden? I thought I told you before that it's incurable. I want to learn more about you, about what sort of illness it is, in more detail. Like I said, an incurable illness. That's all there is to it. She didn't seem interested in talking about it, and was getting closer to losing her temper. I know you said your only option is to suppress it, with medicine, since it's incurable, but if other treatment methods are studied, then it's possible you could be cured. Yeah, well, that's impossible. Dr. Manami said so. Maybe so, but I don't want to talk about my illness anymore. I want to eat. What the fuck? I want to at least have fun when I'm with you. Sorry. I wasn't fond of this topic either. But I didn't want to give up so easily if there was even a chance she could live. I love being with you, and I would like nothing more than for us to be together forever. And I've been trying to think of ways to make that happen. I'm sorry if I upset you at all. That's more than I can wish for. If I wish for even more happiness than what I already have, then I'm sure I'll be punished. Punished? I started dating Yuuri, knowing fully well that her illness was terminal. But still, I didn't want her to die. I wanted her to live. Hey, let's go out somewhere together again on our next day off. Let's go on a date just like the other day. Sure, where do you want to go? Now that I have to come up with some place datey, it's pretty tough. Anywhere's fine. We could go shopping again, or we could go for a walk. As long as I'm with you, I'll go anywhere. Sure, we'll go anywhere you want. Yeah. Yuuri shifted the conversation to avoid further discussing of her illness. However, I was still convinced we had time to think up alternatives. For now, we would focus on all the fun things she wanted to do. I love the random ass like white screens in the middle just to transition the shit. Like, thanks. Anyways, today was the day I had promised to go out with Yuuri. We planned to meet up at 11 a.m. then head home together, or head out together. However, Yuuri never showed. Figuring she had overslept, I decided to pick her up. Sorry I'm late. I overslept. Shall we? Yuuri? Ugh. Just like that, Yuuri flopped down onto the floor. Sorry, I need to rest a little. Sweat ran down Yuri's forehead as a pained expression overtook her features. Want me to call Dr. Manami? Nah, I'm just feeling kind of sluggish. I'll be fine after some rest. Got it. With that, she slowly closed her eyes. Even though we promised to go on a date, even though I was really looking forward to it, take all the time you need and relax. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. I picked her up, carried her to the bed, and gently laid her down. A short time later, I could hear her breathing peacefully. Was Yuuri pushing herself too hard just to be with me? She seemed to be in much better health before we started dating. I didn't want her to overexert herself. My resolve to be with Yuuri for as long as possible hadn't wavered. Yo, where'd the music go, though? She continued to sleep like so for a short while. I ate lunch and quietly spent the afternoon at her house, careful not to disturb her. When I came back to her room at some point, she had changed into her pajamas. She had likely given up on the idea of going out for the day. Those are fucking pajamas? Okay. Shun. Morning, Yuuri. How are you feeling? I'm okay now. What time is it? Our date. We'll go out on a date when you're feeling better. We can go anytime. We can even put aside some time after school. For today, let's have a date in your house. Got it. I'm going to take my medication. Yuuri retrieved her medication from the bedside table and washed it down with a drink of water. It was a staggering number of pills, but she gulped them down looking entirely used to it. Yuuri hadn't smiled once since waking up. Yuuri, are you angry? No, you didn't do anything wrong, so it's not like I'm mad at you. I just feel so pathetic. I've been looking forward to this so much, too. It's not your fault, Yuuri. I mean, yeah, you're just kind of sick, like, nothing you can really do about it. Besides, even if we can't go out, I'm happy we get to spend some time together like this, too. Damn, my throat is, like, fucking hurting so bad after recording fucking 2 hours. Even if I can't move. Even if we can't go anywhere. Even if we can't talk. Even when I do nothing but sleep. You're happy with me even when I'm like this? Yuuri? Does that mean you don't care so long as my heart keeps beating? Do you seriously enjoy being with me when I'm like this? There's no way that's true. I don't want that. Yuuri bitterly looked downward. I really am going to die very soon. The doctor said I would be okay through the summer, but it's hard to say if even that is true. Tomorrow my condition could suddenly worsen, my health could deteriorate, and then my life could come to an end. If you're going to think about death anyway, I wonder what you will do once I die. I'm sure you will mourn for me dearly, but it may take time. But you go back to your old life, someone will be there to support you. Well, I couldn't deny that. I'd survived and made it this far. I'd survived and made it this far in life, even after Sharon had passed away. I'm not trying to criticize you. That's how I want you to cope. I hope things work out that way. I just hope that at first, you'll be a little sad when I'm gone, and then you'll think about me every now and again. And then you'll go back to your ordinary life, fall in love again, and find happiness. I'm not so sure about that. I know, I've been watching you ever since Sharon-chan passed away. You always cared for her. You still do, even now. But that's because she was your little sister, a member of your family. Okay, thanks, Microsoft. I'll just be a girlfriend who was with you for a few months. You might forget about me surprisingly quick. I won't. You don't need to talk about dying. Now is all I have. I'm going to die soon, after all. Once I do, we won't be able to talk about this anymore. But that's all the more reason. Just like when Yuuri said she didn't want to talk about her illness, it was rough on me when she brought up this subject. It may have been an inescapable truth, but I still hated how she talked about it like it was simply a predetermined fact. I'm sure my death must seem pretty far off in the future to you. That's not it. Look at me, and you'll understand. Look at me, now look at you. Now look at me, now look at you. It doesn't feel real, does it? I may die soon, but it's not like I'm being hospitalized. You might think my death will be some sort of scam, and I'll be around this time next year. That's not how I feel. It was true that it didn't feel real, and I took for granted that tomorrow would come. But I couldn't deny how much I wanted her to live. I want to go on even more dates and hang out together too. If not for this illness, I could have been there for you so much more. Why did I have to fall ill like this? I'm sorry, Shun. It's not your fault, Yuuri. I was at a loss for words and couldn't properly convey how I really felt. Despite how much trouble she was in, her indifferent tone made it sound like she was talking about someone else entirely. It felt like anything I said would backfire. I'm sorry. I brought all this up after I said I didn't want to talk about my illness. I just started rambling. I'm sorry. Not being able to do anything as her boyfriend only made me feel even more pathetic. Even the simple act of trying to cheer her up seemed like it would hurt her, so I found myself at a loss. I'm so sorry. You don't need to apologize. Now that we've come this far, we can break up if you want. That might be for the best. You're wrong. I've made up my mind, and I want to be with you. I see. Thank you. I'm sorry. Yuuri repeated her apology over and over again. I believe she wanted to vocalize how she really felt, since the idea of death frightened her and she wasn't able to fully accept it. However, that didn't mean putting it all out into the open like this would change anything. That was exactly why she apologized profusely and wanted to bring the conversation to an end. I wanted her to live, yet she wanted me to move on with my life. Our hearts were in the right place, but I wasn't sure if both of our wishes could be granted. I knew things couldn't stay this way. I couldn't say I felt it especially strongly here in front of Yuuri, sickly as she looked, but I was irritated. For sure. After saying goodbye, I didn't feel like heading straight home, so I went to the beach instead. Yuuri would definitely die long before me. I couldn't imagine what I'd be like after it happened. Though I had no memory of it, Sharon had died on this beach. I was sure I'd been incredibly sad about it back then. Regardless, time passed and I got over my sorrow, at least well enough to lead a normal life. Sharon's death was tragic, and I had yet to fully come to terms with it. But as long as I lived, I had to keep moving forward. Even if I could never forget, and Yuri's memory brought me heartache. If I were to survive, I couldn't stay depressed forever. That does make sense to me in a way, but at the moment, Yuuri was alive. She was there for me. Did that mean I was ready to accept her inevitable death? When I supposed to give up all hope, accept reality, and live my own life? I don't want that. As long as Yuuri was alive, I wanted to do whatever I could to help her. I couldn't sit back and watch from the sidelines. If I sat idly by and watched her die, then all I would have to look forward to is the despair and regret that came along with it. I didn't want to be depressed for the rest of my life. Yuuri was still alive. I wanted to do everything I could to help her. In the time she had left. Anything that could help her to survive even a little while longer. Hell yeah, dude. Shit's getting spicy. I went to see Dr. Manami after school. Okay, so we're going to leave the episode here. We'll see what's going on with Dr. Manami here. She's probably going to ask about Yuri's illness. But anyways, we'll see it next episode. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.